Back?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like she never left, but it's been a while. But I mean, you just seem like you're such in a good place right now. I mean, that was such a great race out there, and now you're heading on to the final. I mean, what's the thought process right now after so long?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely cut it a little closer than I wanted to in that prelim, but, you know, last time at the Olympic trials I felt pretty bad in the prelim, and the final went a lot better, so hopefully the final will feel different, but if it doesn't, like, I'm super grateful to be there, and I'm proud of, like, all the work that I put in this process. Yeah, like being at the trials this time feels super different than the other two times I've been here. Like, I have an amazing support system and coach that have like really believed in me through all the highs and lows, and like that's how I was able to get back here, and I'm just super grateful to be here and be in the final.
Can you tell us what those last 3 years kind of look like, just what's been different from 2021 to now?
Yeah, I mean, well, as a lot of people know, anyone who follows me on social media, I've been in recovery from an eating disorder, which is a super long process. I think unless you've gone through it, it's kind of hard to understand, but it just takes a really long time to kind of heal the damage that happened and also rewire your brain. So it can be very physically and emotionally, mentally demanding. And so training at a really high level while recovering was hard. It was a lot to balance, but I feel like I'm kind of starting to come out the other side, see some of the positive benefits of the changes that I've made, and start to get glimpses of like the runner that I can become someday. So it's pretty exciting.
When did it start clicking again for you? When did you realize, hey, I can be back at the trials and be a factor?
Yeah, I feel like last year I was starting to have glimpses, but I just didn't really have a very good structure around me. I didn't have a professional coach. I didn't really do like altitude camps. I didn't have like a super concrete idea of which races I wanted to do, when I wanted to peak and stuff like that. So this year I really put all those pieces together, started working with David Roach, who's my coach, did some training stints in Boulder, Colorado, and just like really formulated very concrete goals for myself and goal races throughout the year, which helped a lot with having like a good training structure.
How'd you pick David?
He actually reached out to me. He DM'd me on Instagram after one of my trail races last year, because he's like a very big coach in the trail running world, and I had a really tough race for myself, and so I just kind of like word vomited and was like, what am I doing? Like, why did this go so bad? I don't feel like I'm in bad shape. Like, what can I do? And he provided all this like very clear, concrete advice to me, and I was like, oh, can you like maybe start giving me some pointers? And then it just slowly morphed into him coaching me full time.
Was the goal always to get back on the track or not?
Yeah, this has been my goal since last October. After my trail season ended, I was like, I really want to get to the Olympic trials in the steeplechase. I feel like I have unfinished business there. Last time I raced the trials, I was mentally in a very bad place, and I think I could do a lot better if I came at it in a different mind space.
You know, we were at World Cross Championships. You know, how'd you just feel after Serbia, just coming back to the United States, and I guess preparing for this?
Yeah, doing cross country was a really great base training kind of racing environment. Got me back into competition mode, but you don't need a ton of specificity for cross country, so I was able to kind of like train through, not like peak at all, and still perform fairly well for myself. So I just felt like it was a really good start for me.
How do you balance being very open in public about your eating disorder, but still maintain the focus to perform at your best of the year?
Yeah, I think honestly they kind of help each other. They build each other. I think it helps me with both accountability and like support from the online community to share about what I go through. And I get so many messages and comments just saying like, I really appreciate you saying this. I feel the same way, and sometimes I don't feel seen, and that like makes me feel like also supported, because I'm like, I'm not alone in this. And it also just like bolsters kind of the motivation I have behind that. And then as far as keeping the focus on training, like I'm a professional runner. I have always loved running. I would do this regardless of whether I was getting paid to do it or whatever. I love it so much. It's always going to be a focus for me because of that intrinsic joy for it. And so like having another area like mental health awareness that I can focus some of my energy on, it honestly helps me like balance it so I don't get too like hysterical about the running piece.
And a lot of people struggle with, eating disorders, but I feel like it's not talked about a lot. Like, what do you say to some young person, going through this or thinking, hey, maybe I have a problem? Like,
yeah.
What advice do you give to them?
I think my biggest advice is just there are no shortcuts to being at the elite level. Like, you might get a temporary boost from having an eating disorder, but it won't last and it'll ultimately hold you back. Not only that, is like once you go down that road, it's so much harder to go back. So if you feel like you're struggling or restricting or having bad thoughts, like, make sure you seek help, you vent to someone, you share those troubling little thoughts with someone that's close to you, and get accountability on your side, and really try to work to keep yourself from letting those thoughts take over.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Still playing basketball?
I played my boyfriend in one-on-one last year, and I beat him.
You beat him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Would he confirm that, or?
He would say he wasn't trying, whatever. I think that's a cop-out.
I agree.
So are you sponsored now?
I am. You can't really see it because, but Normal, it's a European company, trail brand mainly. They sponsor me. They have a vested interest in me doing trails, which I will be later this summer, but I told them that track this year was really important to me, so they're supporting me for this season.
And like having that sponsorship, is that more pressure or less? Or...
I don't think it's too much. Like, Normal is a very supportive brand, and not just in performance, but like in athlete well-being, and also in my missions outside of athletics. They're super supportive, like want me to advocate for mental health, want me to support other causes. So it's a really great brand to be partnered with.
And with your own sort of eating disorder, what made you realize, like, wait, this is a problem? Because I think a lot of people deny reality. Is that?
I think one of the issues with it is that often you don't want to acknowledge that it's a problem until it becomes very detrimental in your life. So for me, I had a year where I got 5 stress fractures, and that was when my sponsor, the doctor, the athletic trainer were all like, look, you have to go to treatment or we won't let you race. And so I was kind of forced into it. And I think that eating disorders are so pervasive, and they really take over your brain and your decision making. So once you're really deep in one, it's hard to come out of it, unless either it becomes hugely problematic in your life, or someone kind of forces you out. So that's why early intervention and also prevention are so important.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Good luck in
you.
the final.